Galantamine is a pill that, in a controlled study, roughly tripled the lucid dreaming success rate in a single night. The rate went from 14% on placebo to 42% on an 8 milligram dose. It took a combination of chemistry, timing, and lucid dreaming technique. So, why doesn't everybody know about it, and does galantamine really work for lucid dreaming without expertise? That's what Nightcone exists to test. Most lucid dreaming advice is about technique and discipline, using things like reality checks, dream journals, mild, wild, and wake back to bed. And for some people, this alone works, but it asks for a level of commitment that excludes many of the people that are interested in it. I'm one of them, and I tried the technique route but didn't have the discipline and drifted away. Now I'm beginning a new approach from scratch, targeting the neurochemistry underneath the techniques, the oneirogens themselves. These are substances that alter dreams, and the argument, laid out by Thomas Yuschak in his book Advanced Lucid Dreaming, is that part of why lucid dreaming techniques fail for so many people isn't willpower or skill, it's individual brain chemistry. Even well-practiced techniques may only land when the brain is in a favorable chemical state when you hit REM. Here's the chemistry of lucid dreaming as plainly as I can put it. The neurotransmitter at the center is acetylcholine. REM is where most verified lucid dreams occur and where most vivid dreaming activity is especially common. Cholinergic activity is relatively high during wakefulness and REM sleep, and that overlap is the real opportunity here. Awareness is a waking state quality, while REM is a dreaming state. One hypothesis is that raising cholinergic activity at the right moment supports some of the attention, memory, and top-down awareness needed to recognize that you're dreaming in the first place. This is one reductive chemical model of lucidity. Ordinary REM is already highly cholinergic and usually isn't lucid. So acetylcholine can't be the whole story. Stephen LaBerge's team produced early controlled evidence linking acetylcholine to lucid dreaming. A double-blind study where galantamine measurably increased lucid dream reports, along with dream recall and dream vividness, when combined with wake back to bed and the mild technique. There are two common strategies used to increase cholinergic activity in the dreaming brain, and common cholinergic lucid dreaming supplements split along these lines. Part 1, slow the breakdown. An enzyme called acetylcholinesterase constantly chews acetylcholine back down. Block that enzyme and what you already have starts to accumulate. That's galantamine, the best studied lucid dreaming pill. It primarily slows acetylcholine breakdown and may also enhance signaling through a certain nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, though whether that receptor effect contributes to lucid dreaming is unknown. It peaks about an hour after you take it and has a half-life of roughly 7 hours, meaning the majority takes around a day and a half to clear. Huperzine-A is the same idea in a different molecule, another acetylcholinesterase inhibitor that lucid dreamers use. Part 2, supply the raw material. Choline is a precursor the brain can use to synthesize acetylcholine. Alpha-GPC reaches the brain and is commonly stacked with galantamine for lucid dreaming on the theory that one provides precursor material while the other slows breakdown. Yuschak also proposed that the speed of the increase may matter during the wake-to-dream transition. These ideas are biochemically plausible, but they haven't been demonstrated in controlled lucid dreaming research. In fact, one small placebo-controlled study found that 1,200 milligrams of alpha-GPC alone didn't increase lucid dreaming meaningfully. We also don't have controlled evidence showing that adding it makes galantamine more effective. But timing is most of the game. Late-night dosing is the method supported by the strongest controlled evidence. Taking it at bedtime would place its peak concentration earlier in the night rather than in the increasingly REM-dense window tested in the strongest study. The best supported method combines galantamine with the wake back to bed and mild techniques. Sleep for about 4.5 hours, take it, stay out of bed for about 30 minutes, then return to sleep while practicing mild. By then, your deep sleep is mostly done and the back half of the night is naturally REM-dense. You're aligning the drug's strongest effect with the window that's already turning REM-dense. And galantamine appears to deepen REM itself, shortening the time to it and intensifying it. This is often called the easiest way to lucid dream that doesn't demand months of training. But to be clear, it still requires uninterrupted sleep, precise timing, and an induction technique. And frequent use is poorly understood. Yuschak reported diminishing effects and increasingly distorted or unpleasant dreams when cholinergic compounds were used too often. This comes from anecdotal self-experimentation, not controlled research. There's no scientifically established exact washout period, so spacing trials apart is better understood as a conservative experimental choice. So, how solid is any of this? The backbone is real. Galantamine increased lucid dream reports when combined with wake back to bed and mild and controlled research. But most of the fine detail, stack combinations, dose spacing, and attempts to optimize timing, comes from Yuschak's self-experimentation, not settled clinical science. So the answer is real but thin. Here's what it looked like when I ran it on myself. Over 7 dose nights at 8 milligrams each, I had 3 lucid dreams. As recommended by Yuschak, this was taken on a wake back to bed schedule at mid-sleep. This is the strongest lucidity signal in the night cone matrix to date. And that's the whole reason this channel exists, to test these oneirogens individually to evaluate the chemical impact alone across at least 7 nights. One important thing to note is that this is an experimental research project, not medical advice. Galantamine is a prescription drug approved for Alzheimer's dementia, not lucid dreaming. Galantamine and Huperzine-A are pharmacologically active and can interact with medications. Speak with a qualified medical professional before using either compound. I'm documenting my own experiments and independent self-experiments performed by collaborators, not telling you to run them. The point is to build a repeatable framework for chemically influencing dream states and skeptically figuring out what works and what doesn't.